go. And we're there. About 3 minutes. About 3 minutes. Yes, Carrie, this will be recorded. We'll be sending you a link to the recording afterward. Yes, Carrie, this will be recorded. We'll be sending you a link to the recording afterward. Two minutes away. Excuse me while I sip a cup of coffee. And as you can see, we'll be getting started in about 1 minute. Okay, we're coming up on the time. All right, we'll get started.
Recording in progress.
I'm going to invite in our LinkedIn live streaming audience, so bear with me for a moment. Here we go. Welcome to our LinkedIn live streaming audience, our YouTube live streaming audience, and of course everyone here on Zoom with us today. My name is Stuart Creek, and I'm with Simplilearn. We are the delivery partner for Caltech Center for Technology and Management Education for this program, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Bootcamp. and in partnership with IBM. So I'll be telling you about that today, but you'll be hearing from Mike Ash, who is the program director for this program with Caltech. And we'll be asking a couple questions about you along the way. Keep track of those when we ask poll questions. If you are on a streaming service, you can answer by putting in a letter response A, B, C, or D into the chat box or comment box on your streaming service. Otherwise, you'll have a poll widget that comes up in Zoom. If you have questions for us to take at the end of the session, please put those in the Q&A on Zoom or in your comment or chat in the streaming services. So we'll talk about careers in the field. We'll talk about how this boot camp prepares you for a career in the field. We'll cover some learner outcomes, and I'll share with you enrollment steps and a special bonus offer for those of you who are here today on this webinar. And as I said, we'll take your Q&A toward the end of the session. So at this point, I'd like to get started. And I'm going to introduce or allow Mike Ash to introduce himself with some comments he made at an earlier session of this preview. So here we are.
I spent 25 years in consulting under IBM and Deloitte, at Price Waterhouse, working with companies leveraging advanced technologies. In IBM, several projects around cognitive computing. How do we exploit new digital technologies? And that's what I do. And I work with clients to make their new strategic opportunities in digital initiatives, whether that's for internal efficiency gains, or they're creating new platforms that they're going to either sell or compete with. Within Caltech, we cover several industries because of our science and engineering background, aerospace, energy, electronics, high tech. And what we try to do in the programs that we have are bring courses that could either build up skills or help you develop leadership skills and professional skills. And our audiences are typically people who are technical in the roles that they play. So we have this program, and we're pretty excited about it. And one of the reasons we think that it's important is as we see how companies are really trying to extend the performance that they have, when they're investing in new technologies, they're coming up against some obstacles and some barriers. And the only ways to get past those, especially dealing with all the data that comes in from digital platforms, is being able to use advanced math and machine learning to be able to not just manage that data, but interpret what is it telling you? What is it telling about the services that you offer? What is it telling you about the customers who are using or the users on a platform? And because that is growing and becoming more complex, we need advanced tools just to deal with this stuff, right? And so some of these machine learning tools are in the background. You don't really notice them, like recommendations on Netflix or on Spotify, but they're also in places where we as a research institution love to do advanced things, and I'll talk about those in just a second. In a program like what we'll talk about today, which is really a comprehensive boot camp, this is an intermediate program. So really for people who already have some coding and development skills, but we really want to, you're looking to grow into a role where you can use new skills. And those might be as a software architect or a developer. You're developing tools using machine learning. You're creating new algorithms. You're really improving the products through software that either learns more about the problems that it has to solve or about the environment around it. So with the rigor that this program has, we're really trying to help people grow into these kinds of roles that you see. And all of those are in high demand, not just within science and engineering, but within media and communications and medicine and consumer products. And I think you guys already know this, and that's why you're here. Whenever trying to build new competencies around AI and machine learning and advanced development, you need to have a lot of different skills. This is not just a field that has one particular skill. And some of these, what you're going to be exposed to are skills that are methods and skills that are around certain software and the libraries. Statistics as a, and statistics are, we're going to give you a background in more of that and understanding probability, a little bit of linear algebra, Python. We're going to be doing a lot of coding in. Over on the far side, if you see NumPy, NumPy is one of the science and math libraries for Python, and that's used extensively in the work that we do in Caltech, and not just our group, of course, the larger institute. If you go to the NumPy website, there are 2 case studies that you'll see on their homepage. One is how they use the tools within that particular package to do the imaging of the black hole, M87, by Dr. Katie Bowman's group. Dr. Bowman lives in my building right here, here on campus. Her team worldwide worked on the imaging of M87, I think in 2019. Other case study you'll see there is for LIGO, which is Gravitational Wave Observatory. That was also invented, initially theorized and invented here at Caltech by Kip Thorne, who got a Nobel Prize. So these are the kinds of tools and skills that you can use in any kind of commercial business, but also if you're in science and engineering, that really want to do breakthrough things. And we're going to help you get there.
All right, at this point, I would like to ask a question of our audience. So, as Mike said, you're all here because you're interested in this field, potentially becoming an AI or ML practitioner or extending your career capabilities in that area. So let me ask, what has stopped you to date from getting involved in a program of this type? So is it because you can't find a program that covers all the different skills and tools that Mike talked about? Is it because you don't have confidence that you get practical experience that you can use to demonstrate your new skills? Is it because of the way most of the programs are structured and the learning environment? Or is it because of finding time in your work schedule? So if you're on a streaming service, you can use A, B, C, and D for these answers. But otherwise, I'm going to keep this poll open for about another 10 seconds for our Zoom audience. So please get your answers in. I'm going to close the poll now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here you go. So sharing the result, the biggest concern people have is being confident that they'd be able to show off their new skills with practical experience. And then people are also worried about finding a comprehensive curriculum or finding time in their work schedule. So let's talk a little bit about those things. And I'm going to let Mike talk about the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Bootcamp a little bit, but just wanted to give you a quick few points. It does have the comprehensive curriculum, which we'll describe later for you. It is a fully online program. It's available to you on a platform that's open 24/7, so you can fit it into your schedule at any time that you've got time to work on it. And you do all of the virtual classes live with your instructors. You do all of the labs, your projects, prep work is all in the same environment. So it's very easy and convenient. You'll see a little bit about that later. It's about 10 to 15 hours of time dedication per week. And as you can see, the cost of the program is $1 less than $10,000, so it's $9,999. And I'll be sharing with you a bonus offer. So let me ask Mike to cover some of the points about the program for you.
What we do in this program is use that flipped classroom model that we're going to give you access to learning in cases and readings to get familiar with something, and then come into a practice lab weekly for 8 hours on a part-time basis and work through code, work through different examples, work on project-based learning. And like I mentioned earlier, it's the methods, it's some of the math, it's using these tools. And then as you get that foundation set, add on some more advanced tools. This is a comprehensive program. That's why it's 6 months. It does require about 10 to 15 hours every week. We'll say that's mostly on the weekends. So there's a commitment for live time with the class. So this is not a fully on-demand, 100% pre-recorded. There's a mix of pedagogies here. There are things that you'll review ahead of time, and then there's live sessions, and you have access to instructors and TAs and help throughout that process. And these integrated labs, we're going to have an online, like basically workbench learning management system where you'll be able to access code, turn in homework, some of the exercises that you have, see the videos, access other tools. All that is in an integrated environment. And that's one of the reasons we really love Simplilearn, is because they have that. And they've put that together so the entire class, which will probably have usually in between like 35 or 45 people in a cohort, in a class. And you'll be able to work through projects during that. You'll have access to the platform at all times. And it's set up in this way to also meet the demands of people who are fully employed, who are either looking to create new skills or invest some time to upskill what they're doing. You may have a little bit of background in machine learning and quant type tasks. You might already be an Excel jockey. This is going to take you to the next level. But we do it to try to help you fit the demands that you have in your life already. At the end, you'll get a certificate from Caltech. Like I said, this is about 6 months. There's a culminating kind of project at the end, a capstone, which we'll talk about in a minute. When you've successfully completed everything, there's not necessarily a test at the end, but there are certification steps along the way. You will also be able to access some elective courses. We've teamed with IBM to offer kind of a deep dive into Python for data science. In this, you'll be able to join in some masterclass sessions, which are monthly with either a Caltech instructor, also an IBM instructor, and do Ask Me Anything sessions. You have any kind of question, bring those up. Understand how they are applying machine learning in different cases and scenarios. In the end, you'll also get what are called CEUs. These are continuing education credits. This is important for employers who may be reimbursing you for tuition. They might be funding this program for you. This is very common in the US. I think most people on this call, this particular bootcamp is for a US audience. The CEUs that you're going to get you tell your employer about that, you show them the dates of the program, and that's how they'll typically fund the tuition for you. 22 CEUs converts to 220 active learning hours. That's why it's a 6-month program, 10 to 15 hours every week. The 22 or 220 hours, that's just active learning. That's the amount of content that you have, and in the lessons, if you're doing stuff on your own, that's even extra time. So as you think about putting this program into your life, you need to plan around it. The live sessions are meant for you to be there. You need to engage in order to get the most out of this. So this is an investment, and you're going to be greatly rewarded. So with the certificates, you get the continuing education credits. You can join a private LinkedIn group for all the Caltech CTME grads and certificate holders. And then we'll also have a convocation event online where you can be a part of that experience or that and maybe recognized for certain awards. All right. You probably know who Caltech is, just in case you don't. This is the California Institute of Technology. We've been around since 1891, and we're a science and engineering private institution with engineering and applied sciences, which is my division. That's where we are. That includes everything from computer math sciences, electrical engineering, civil engineering, structural, aerospace engineering, and so on, and medical engineering. We also have physics, math, and astronomy. You may be familiar with the Jet Propulsion Lab, or JPL. We run that for NASA. There's bio and bioengineering, chemical and chemical engineering, and humanities. And guess what? Machine learning is used in every single one of those fields, every single one of those disciplines, in academics and in professions. So what Caltech does is excel at taking computer and math sciences and computational thinking, match it up with a field, and really drive kinds of brand new results. And we've chosen to create these kinds of boot camps to help intermediate learners build out new ways to help advance their careers and do it in a way that's kind of very fun and instructive.
Okay, and so you heard about our connection with Caltech here and the Caltech CTME program. We've also brought into it one of the reasons that Caltech chose Simplilearn as our delivery partner is our connection with IBM, which gives an advantage in these programs for providing information capability. So we're very pleased with that aspect of it. Eligibility and prerequisites. Prior experience in or knowledge of mathematics and programming. You need to come into this with not necessarily a extensive background or work experience in those fields, but you do need to have a basic understanding. Educational requirement is very simple. You have to have a high school diploma or equivalent. You must be at least 18 years of age. So this is a program that's suitable for people who are very experienced, but also people who are just starting out. We prefer that you have 2 or more years of experience in the workplace. Not mandatory. So if you have that experience, you'll have a better understanding of how AI and ML work within the organizational environment, and you'll be able to understand better how to apply it. But again, it's not a mandatory requirement. So at this point, I'd like to ask the audience, how much experience do you have? We'll ask this question. pretty straightforward, so I won't leave it open very long. Just another about 15 seconds from now. So are you currently working on your undergraduate degree or in school for a graduate degree? Are you in the workforce? And I'll close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sharing the results. So we have a fairly seasoned audience today. We have almost half of you with more than 5 years of experience, and you'll see some interesting information about that. But this is a great program for you, as well as people who are at the other end of the experience spectrum. So let me move on, and we'll talk about how this program prepares you. So I'll cover the way we built the curriculum. Build your skills in a stepwise fashion so that each module prepares you for the next one in sequence. You start off with an orientation session. That just gives you overview of what the curriculum is, what to expect in terms of your class schedule, amount of projects and homework between classes, how to work the learning management system, manage your curriculum, keep track of your progress, all of those basics like freshman orientation. And once you've completed that, you move on to the first formal module, which is Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. And that's an overview of the field and the basics, principles, and what you need to know about how artificial intelligence and machine learning works. Then you'll move on to a module on Python programming. So if you don't have a programming background, this is where you'll obtain skills that you need in this program to do the Python work. So don't have to worry about coming in with Python knowledge. You'll get that during the course of the program. After that basic module, you'll start looking at how Python is used in data science, which is the fundamental underpinning of AI and ML. And once you have that experience, that practice, you'll be able to go into the machine learning module and understand how machine learning works, how data modeling works, how algorithms can improve themselves by taking in new data and adjusting based on what the data tells them, which is the basic of machine learning. And then you'll move past that into deep learning, tools like Keras and TensorFlow, and then into some advanced topics. And once you're past that, you do your capstone project, which is something I'll describe in just a minute. That's essentially a final project that ties together all of the skills that you've learned in the previous modules, lets you solve a industry-based real-world type problem, and then your solution becomes part of your permanent portfolio, and it's the practical experience along with the other projects you've done that you can show off to potential future employers. Along the way, you can take any or all of the electives. These are at no additional cost. They're included in the program, so they're based on whether you have the time and inclination for them. You can look deeper into the statistics essentials if you need more remedial background on that. You can go deeper into natural language processing, speech recognition. You can look at reinforcement learning, and then along the way, as I think Mike had said, there's master classes from Caltech CTME instructors who will share with you the research they've been doing, how AI and ML is applied in their work. Those are really fascinating classes as well. So all of that in the curriculum. And then you have the ability to use all of these tools. So it's not a matter of you'll be exposed to them. It's a matter of you'll be required to use them all. So Python and NumPy, as Mike mentioned, you'll be using regularly. You'll be using tools like Keras and TensorFlow. When you get into the advanced machine learning, you'll be using Django, Flask rather, OpenCV, and eLearn. So all of these types of tools you need to use in your projects in each of the courses, and along the way, then you'll be able to add them to your resume with not just a buzzword, but you'll be able to say, here's work that I actually did with each of these tools and platforms, and here are examples. So you'll be able to prove your skills in each of these areas. So that's a valuable aspect of the program. And again, as I mentioned, the capstone project ties all of it together. So you'll get a challenge, and we'll see a few of those in a few minutes, that you'll get to pick one challenge and work on it for about 3 to 4 weeks. Meet weekly with your instructor to make sure that you're staying on target with the progress on your capstone project. And it will be something that you build from scratch yourself. It becomes part of your Git portfolio that you can then demonstrate your experience to other people. So it's really a valuable, practical experience tool for building your future career. I'm going to share with you this gentleman's story because it's interesting for a couple of reasons. He took the program at age 66. So if any of you happen to be more seasoned like myself and are wondering whether there's some type of age limit, there isn't. We'll tell you about the program. Excuse me.
Artificial intelligence has already become a part of our lives, and I wanted to learn more about it. The course is helping me tremendously in my upskilling journey. Hi, I'm Daniel Dick. I'm 66 years old and I'm semi-retired and live in California with my wife and son. Since childhood, I've had a strong interest in science and technology. I was fascinated by the way systems worked internally and how algorithms performed. But after 40 years of working in the technology sector, I could no longer work. It hit me hard. I looked at how well my daughter was doing as a software engineer. My daughter became my inspiration to upskill. And over the years, I had pursued various courses in different fields of computer science. I realized that technology has the power to change the world. I worked rigorously in the healthcare sector as a technocrat, and I know technology can revolutionize it. I wanted to know how it could be used in the healthcare sector and other sectors so I could contribute to those domains whenever I start something of my own. So I chose the AI ML Bootcamp from Simplilearn in association with Caltech CTME. The course is practical. All the minute details and concepts are explained in the most simplistic manner. The curriculum was well designed considering learners from different backgrounds. It was an amalgamation of practical labs and theory. The program focuses on building a problem-solving attitude in learners. The course is helping me tremendously in my upskilling journey and solving real-life problems. Whatever the problem is, you can either solve it or learn to solve it by upskilling yourself.
Okay, and so you saw in that some glimpses of the learning environment, which allows you to manage your curriculum. You see all the component courses that make up the program, and it keeps track of which one you're on and which ones you've completed. You've got the live virtual classroom where you take live lectures and interact directly with your instructor and your fellow classmates, answer their questions, they answer yours. You take your tests and assessments and do your labs and projects all online in the same environment. You saw how the coding exercises are done in the same sandbox environment in the learning management system on a virtual machine that's assigned to you. So you can do it from any place that you have a web browser. We talked about the capstone project, and we mentioned that as you finish each of your courses, you unlock a certificate for that course. And then ultimately, when you're done all of the courses and completed the capstone, you unlock that final certificate from Caltech. So support tools have a community bulletin board, social media type of experience where you can ask questions from your instructors and your peers. And you also have the ability to contact us on our 24/7 help desk. So if you have a problem with the platform, we're available to you. But also if you have subject matter questions, we have experts on call for that as well. So if you're working on a project at 3 o'clock in the morning and you've reached some dead end, we'll be able to help you with that. So the program is under the direction of Rick Hefner, who is actually the executive director of Caltech CTME. He is Mike's boss, and he oversees all of the programs from Caltech CTME, specifically looks at the content of the curriculum, how it's delivered, who the people are that will deliver master classes from the Caltech side, and they make sure that this program meets the rigorous standards of the institution. So you already saw one of the learner outcomes from Mr. Dick, but you'll be learning alongside people from a lot of different backgrounds and organizations. So people who come into this program can come from a whole wide range of different organizations, not just technology, not just software, but also manufacturing, e-commerce, financial and banking, pharma, healthcare, gas, oil, exploration, just people who need to use machine learning, and that covers pretty much every organization in the world today. So your class cohort may have people from a whole wide range of different companies, and you'll be able to essentially learn alongside and from them as well. Here are some of the other learners who have taken this program, Chris, Felipe, and Schlinder, who all looked at different aspects of the program, the Python programming, the data modeling, and deep learning, and had a particular favorite part. And as part of the program, we will also offer you a career assist service, which is something that will help you find your next job if you are in the market for that. This is something where we work with a company called Talent Inc., and we offer several different pieces of this. They extend for 6 months after you earn your certificate from the program. So once you finish your capstone, unlock your certificate, you still get to access these for another 6 months. Part of it is the expert webinars that we run at Simplilearn on an ongoing basis with career advice and information about technology fields. Then we have the projects that you do within the program, which become your portfolio of practical experience demonstrate. And then there's the formal services from Talent Inc. And those include their Resume Rabbit portal, which gives you access to their exclusive job listings, as well as a way to search and apply for those jobs discreetly and privately. The other two parts I think are even more important. One is Resume Review and Rewrite, the top resume service. And the reason that's important is because today resumes don't go to people until they have gone through an automated system, automated tracking system, and an AI bot that evaluates the content of your resume against the job description. So your resume has to be written in a way that the AI bot can recognize what's in it and make that association easily, and will tend to filter you in rather than filter you out. But then after that process, if you get filtered in, it will go to a person and it'll show up on their desktop or their screen, and it still has to look attractive to the human eye. So having a resume that fulfills both of those requirements for the AI screening and for the human appeal, that's really an art form, and that's what this part of the service helps you with. Then the same thing about the one-on-one interview service, because as you know from applying for work, you have multiple rounds of interviews that start with maybe a phone screen from a recruiter or HR rep, and then moves on to technical interviews from your immediate supervisor and your team members who you'll be working with that they'll want to evaluate your technical skills and your knowledge of the field. And then you'll move on to cultural fit, and are you a good team player, and how do you mesh with the people at the organization. Each of those types of interviews requires a slightly different approach, and the one-on-one interview service will give you a chance to practice each one of those live with the coach. So this is a really valuable service. Again, not a job guarantee or placement service, but it's a set of tools that you can use in your job search, and you can use them as much or as little as you want. I mentioned the expert webinars. We do have weekly webinars on different data or technology fields, overviews of the industry, what are the current trends. We sometimes do mini courses, learn it live sessions where you go into a particular technical skill and get a 1-hour lesson. We also have career-oriented webinars that teach you about how to conduct a job search or how to structure your career and develop the soft skills you need to move ahead. So all of these are free. All of these are available to you lifelong. And then when we talk about the capstone projects, here's some examples of the types of challenges that you can choose from social media or from commerce, manufacturing, ed tech, healthcare. So you'll be able to pick a problem that interests you and then solve that challenge with your particular solution. Again, it's a 3 to 4 week process, and your solution becomes your own part of your portfolio to show off your new set of skills with your practical experience. So, as I mentioned before, the program fees are $9,999 US dollars. But I talked about the bonus offer. The bonus offer for attending today's webinar is a $500 discount from those fees, down to $94.99 if you enroll from this webinar. And you do that by contacting askus@simplilearn.net. I'm going to put that, if you will bear with me for a moment, I will put that into the chat. Moment to copy that in. So this is how you apply for the program, contacting us at this email address in the chat now. And Mike had mentioned that if you have an employer with a tuition reimbursement policy, if this is something that you're going to do that will improve your job skills for your current employer, you can ask them about whether they have tuition reimbursement to help you with some or all of the costs of the program. So that's, of course, up to your individual employer's policies. But based on everything that Mike and I have told you today, are you interested? What's your level of interest? So I'm going to leave this poll question open for about 20 seconds. Again, it's a yes or no, so it's pretty straightforward. So close it in about 5 seconds from now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the result. Almost 3/4 of our audience are interested in enrolling in the program. So that's great. And I'm going to share with you now the steps for accomplishing that. Well, the enrollment steps, very straightforward. Again, start by emailing us at askus@simplilearn.net. We will review, we'll ask you for some additional information and review your application. Again, you only need to have a proof of age and a proof of high school diploma or GED as a background for educational background. There will be, however, requests for verifying your work history just to see what work history you do have. Does not have to be in the technology field, can be in any area. And we'll also give you a quick assessment test of your knowledge of math and programming skills just to see where you are and make sure that you have the aptitude to handle the work. And then we'll also ask you questions about your interest in the field and your level of commitment. As Mike said, you're going to be putting in a 6-month commitment where you need to plan on showing up every weekend, 4 hours Saturday, 4 hours Sunday for the live classes, and then putting in some work in between to do the projects and preparation work. So you don't have to be there every single weekend because we know that people do have other things that happen in their lives, and you can catch up on a particular class you missed by watching a recording, but you do have to meet a certain percentage of the live classes in order to qualify for completing each course. So you need to plan as if you'll need to be there every weekend. Once you receive your admission letter started, and the schedule for that actually starts next in April, where on the 12th you can take the first welcome class orientation session, and the actual live classes start on May 6th. So again, we urge you to hurry so that you can take advantage of that $500 discount offer. Reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.net to do that. Just one follow-up question to the last one, which is for those of you who are interested, how soon do you see yourself enrolling? Is it something you want to do for the class sessions that start in May, or is it something you want to do maybe June or a little later? And we'll leave this open for another 10 seconds. We'll close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. I'll share the result here. So 60% of our audience would like to start either in that April, May cohort, or maybe the one after that. And for those of you who are looking further out, do contact us at askus@simplilearn.net. And what we'll do is we'll keep in touch with you, keep you advised of future cohorts, and we'll also be able to answer any questions that you have in interim. So this is where we start with questions and answers, and I see there are a number of them in the Q&A. So let me stop making you look at that slide. I will pull up Q&A questions and I'll address those. Let me also check real quick to see if we've received, I haven't seen any transcribed from our live stream. Gruff. This is just a recording, but can I still ask questions? Well, part of it was a recording. Mike was recorded, but I am here live, so I can answer your questions. Will we get proof of attendance for this webinar, this particular session? The next question I'll be asking in a poll, you can request that. Is the 15 hours per week of virtual class time? So we have 8 hours of live virtual classes in the courses that include live classes. Some of them are done by self-study, but the ones that include live classes include 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, generally from 8 to noon on the morning, so that Pacific time, so that if you're on the West Coast where Caltech is located, do it in the mornings on the weekend. If you happen to be taking the the course from, let's say, the East Coast, it would be the afternoon. And then the rest of the time commitment is the projects and labs and assessments and other prep work where you're watching, for example, pre-recorded video material to get oriented for what the class is going to be about that week. So all of that adds into the rest of the time. What if there is someone interested in the program and can't afford the fee? I would suggest you contact us at askus@simplilearn.net and find out if there are any programs that we might offer for that. But generally speaking, we don't offer too many scholarships or bursaries. Generally, the main assistance we're giving you is the $500 bonus offer for today. But again, if you are working and your employer will cover some of this through tuition reimbursement, that's another avenue to pursue. So look at that. What are the recommended prerequisites? Prerequisites, again, fall into just understanding basic math and statistics principles. So there's some the higher level of high school math and early college math, and then having some understanding of how programming is done. So if you've done any coding for yourself, or if you've taken any kinds of programming classes, high school, for example, generally those are the types of things that are give you the background you'll need. Learning Python is part of this program, so you don't have to come into the program, pardon me, with Python knowledge. We'll help you with that. So, how much one-on-one time can students expect with TAs or instructors? You can schedule one-on-one time with instructors through office hours and project help sessions. So the 4-hour sessions on the weekends are class sessions. They're group class sections, but you can request one-on-one time. So I wouldn't expect more than maybe an hour a week, but if that, but it is possible to do. What type of programming would be the best foundation for learning specifically? You just need to understand, object-oriented programming is always, principles of object-oriented programming are important, but basically if you understand how computer programs are structured and nature of algorithms, that's just the basis that you'll need. You don't need to have deep understanding of programming tools or techniques. Let's see. What, if any, career support is included? I've described that with our Job Assist program. Will the course require accessing a cloud program like Google Cloud Platform? The course will include all the tools you need. You'll be working through the learning management system, which is cloud-based. You will have a virtual machine assigned to you where you can do your work. You aren't going to get too much into cloud questions about how to coordinate program operation across the cloud or containerization or any of that type of thing. But all the tools that are available, that are necessary for the program, will be available to you through the learning management system. Will participants be working in teams? Generally not, but that would be up to the instructor for a particular course. What certificate will you get after this course? After the boot camp, if you enroll in the boot camp, you get the boot camp certificate. For today, if you want to get a certificate for being here, that's just a proof of attendance. It won't be much use in getting you a job, but the one from Caltech is. The one from Caltech certifies that Caltech is able to say that you completed the program to their specifications successfully and demonstrated all of the new skills that you've learned. And that carries a lot of weight with employers. Are there discounts available for people over 66 years old? I do not know the answer to that, but I would ask us at simplylearn.net to find out. And with that, I've completed all of the open questions. So let me do a quick check of what's in the chat to see if there's any other questions there. Sorry. Chat. This is the chat. So, can undergrads join this course? Sanjita, yes, undergrads can join the course if you have the commitment of time to do the work. So if you feel confident you can do this course in addition with your full class load for your undergrad, and yeah, you can join the course. Don't know if we have discounts. Again, you would ask us at simplylearn.net to ask that question, see if there's student discounts. When did this program start? This program has been going on for several years with Caltech and Simplilearn, and the class cohorts start about monthly. And again, it's a 6-month program. So if you're starting with the May classes, you'd expect to continue through to about November. How can one find his first job in the data science machine learning field? Most listings seem to require prior experience. So there are definitely, if you look on LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Dice, there are entry-level jobs available in the field, and having the ability to demonstrate your skills with the practical experience you gain in this program and the portfolio you'll carry out of it is a definite help. The Job Assist program will help you with coaching on how to find that first job. So again, we're giving you as much help as we can in that process of finding that first job. So okay, I'm going to answer this for Jeff, although I know Jeff had to drop off, but he had a great question. I'm looking at programs for over a year now. I'm ready to move forward. Hardest part is choosing a program and being confident in my choice. Will I learn, or will I just be watching videos as though I'm taking a class through you? Well, you're not just watching videos for this program. You do have expert instructors, people who work in industry, who will be sharing their expertise and experience, and not just academic instructors, but they share practical examples. And you'll be taking the classes live in many of the courses. Live resources you have available include the bulletin board, but you can also contact your instructors and TAs for live interaction, and you can also contact our help desk to get live help. So all of that is available to you. And again, this question says, am I completely siloed? No, you're not, because you have the ability to compare your experience with other students in your cohort, ask them for help or advice, or compare notes, or compare what was your approach on this project. So all of that is available to you. You're not in an isolated environment. And why is this program worth more than the IBM AI program? The reason it's worth more is it's far more extensive and comprehensive. So, and you get exposure to and a certificate from Caltech, which in itself has great value. So with that, I'm going to conclude our Q&A period, move on to our last question for you. And our last question for you is, do you need assistance? Would you like us to reach out to you to help you enroll. So let me see if I can find a button for that. Hold on a second. Sorry. Confused myself for a second. Here you go. Would you like us to reach out to you and contact you if you wanted to get a proof of attendance for today's webinar? Answer yes, and we'll send that to you. And other than that, let us know if you want us to reach out to you and answer any further questions, get you started in the program. And I'll leave this open for another 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And it's about 50-50. So for those of you who answered yes, we will contact you, and I will also send you a proof of attendance for today's session. And for anyone else who is looking to get involved, contact us at askus@simplilearn.net. I'm also going to put, you can use the QR code that will take you to the homepage for the program. I'm going to put that URL also into the chat so you can go to the homepage directly. Put that in there, and I will again reiterate the email address there. And so you can contact us, or you can find out more information at the webpage. And I want to thank everyone for being here today, whether you're on our streaming services or here live with us at Zoom. And we hope that we can welcome you into the learning community with Caltech and Simplilearn. So thanks again for being here. That's the end of our webinar for today. Thank you.
Recording stopped.